pucks, and yeah, it's nice to get a chance. I think you just learn, and your experience just helps you a lot. Having been in those moments, having been in those games, and not being able to finish it yet. I think that's what drives us, right? So yeah, we're excited to get another crack at it. Yeah, like I said, just the maturity factor of it, the experience of having been through the travel, the media attention, all those things. Knowing what it's all about, knowing the details that go into a game, and it's exciting to having worked ourselves back into this situation for both sides, and yeah, we're excited to get going. I think a little bit more patient. We're more patient and more trusting in our game, and I think we seem to have a understanding of when to pounce and when to do the right moves and make the right plays, and the plays that are needed in certain moments, and just maturity, a little bit more mature in those moments. I think that's something that I thought we've done a really good job of so far.
Just building on what we talked about patience, I want to ask about the acquisitions of Wallman and Finker. Just as an example, your whole team's been playing a lot faster because you guys can move the puck. When you guys are patient, are you guys able to be a little bit more patient because you know you have that skill set, that speed, whenever an opportunity does present itself?
Yeah, I would say that our puck movement back there is probably better than it was last year, and that's no knock on Cody or Vinny. They were amazing. I mean, we almost won it, and they did a heck of a job. But I think our team's just built a little bit different. The puck movement, I think, is one of our strong suits now, and it lets forwards, be a little bit more free sometimes on the offensive side of things, because there's a factor of trust, of our guys back there breaking the puck out, and yeah, they've been great. Yeah, it was a different situation for sure. The last couple of years, we've always had our team set. We've always been very healthy going into the playoffs, and everybody kind of knew their roles. And this year it was obviously different with Kaner coming back, not having played, Freddie being hurt, not having played in a while, Connor, myself, Highmore. There's lots of guys that haven't played in a while, so it took us a little bit of time to obviously understand what we are, but I think we did a really good job figuring out as to what we are as a team as quickly as we could.
Leon, you, Darnell, and Connor have been together for about 10 years. To go to the second straight Stanley Cup final with those guys in particular, does that make it extra special?
Yeah, I mean they're my best friends. We've been through a lot of bad years, a lot of tough times here. And now a lot of good times as well, and obviously our dream, our goal is to finish this off now, and hopefully we can do it for, most importantly, for ourselves, but for the people of Edmonton, the fan base, the organization. They live with us, and the passion is just it feels different around here. So yeah, we're excited to get another crack at it. Yeah, I think he just brings a sense of calmness each and every day, right? He obviously loves the game, and he's got so much passion and so much still left in the tank and so much to give. But I think he brings a sense of calmness and experience to our group that you can rely on in those moments. And obviously on the ice he performs. That's what he does. He's done it all his life, and it's no different seemingly at 40 than it was at 30 or 25. So I'm very fortunate to have him. I don't know. I think Stewie has always been a really good goalie. He does he have a bad night every once in a while? Yes, I have a bad night. Connor has a bad night. Every player has a bad night every once in a while. The one thing about Stewie that I've always really admired is his ability to bounce back. He's always a goalie that when he has an off night, his next game is going to be good. And that's a really good characteristic to have in any player, but I think especially a goalie. So we got full trust in him, of course. He's been great for us all season. If it's harder, I don't know if it's harder. I've never played goalie, luckily, for everyone involved. but I'm not sure, but he does a really good job of it.
Stewart said he thinks that's the story of the Oilers, a team that gets knocked down and always finds a way to get back up. What do you think it is about this team that you do always get back up and not kind of submit to the feeling of hope?
Sorry. Yeah, I mean, I think that's something that we've created internally over the last couple of years. Nobody's going to make their way through two Stanley Cup winning 16 games straight, and there's not a moment where you're down in the series or you're chasing. And so you got to be comfortable in these situations, and I think we have been in those situations in the last couple of years, and we've done a really good job of being comfortable in it and being okay with it, but also responding to it and responding in the right way. So you don't want to be in those situations all the time. You don't want to be down 2-0, 3-0 in a series over and over again. But sometimes you are in those moments, and it's all about how you respond. That next one is big, and I think we've mastered that understanding and prioritizing that. Yeah, it's everything to us, especially, the way we started, it wasn't easy. There's some tough years that we had, and, to be able to start the Stanley Cup final on home ice, you can just feel a buzz in the city, and, these people deserve it. They've waited a long time for this, and, obviously to us, it's all about finishing it. You never really wipe something like that. I think until you really get over that hump and finish it, it's going to stick with me forever. But you got to try and pull the positives out of it, right? We gave ourselves a chance. We played in the biggest game in hockey that you can probably play in, and the experience is very valuable. So yeah, sorry, what was the second part? I don't know. I don't believe in that. No matter what team we would have faced, it's the same feeling. We want to win. They want to win, and it's two really good teams going at it. It's cool. I think the story is better for you guys that it's the two same teams going at it. But I think for us, it doesn't matter. We're preparing for a really good hockey team, and we're going to try to beat them.
Connor grows up in Canada, Stanley Cup's everything here. Growing up watching since he was a little boy. I would ask you, growing up in Cologne, Germany, when did the Stanley Cup when did it come onto your radar?
I mean, when I was young too. I think you're not exposed to it as much as over here in Canada. Obviously, it's not made as big of a deal back home. But with time, you start to understand what it's all about, and with experience, you start to understand the feeling of how much it means to people, to us, and so, yep.
What do you think it means to him? He's grown up with this thing. I don't know, I wouldn't call it a burden, but it's certainly been an expectation since he was a young coach. What do you think it all means to him?
I think it's everything he's ever dreamed of. It's everything that he ever put his work in for, that he grinds for, that he plays through injuries for, and yeah, I mean, it means everything to all of us. Obviously, he has the, like you said, I don't know if you want to call it a burden, but being the face of this franchise, of the Canadian franchise, and yeah, he wears it and he embraces it, and it's what makes him special.
Overall, how do you want to
Yeah, obviously just a little bit more comfortable, know what to expect. Said it after Game 5, it just feels less emotional. It's been less of a roller coaster, I would say. Just the whole thing feels more normal, which is a good thing.
Connor, given your experience last year in this position, do you find Stanley Cup final games a little bit more draining, whether it be emotionally, physically, whatever it may be? And how do you kind of combat that? How do you make sure that you're good to go come the next game?
I mean, winning in the playoffs takes everything you got. Obviously, we're here in the last series. It takes even more. So, yeah, they can be draining physically and emotionally, but it's supposed to be. It's that way for both teams. Your question was, how do you get ready? Everyone takes care of themselves. Everybody is expected to be in this position. We've been preparing for this all year long, whether that's through practice or games or whatever it is. We're prepared to be here. That won't be an issue.
What was the biggest
Sorry.
lesson you took away from last year's final game?
I would say it's just dealing with the emotion of it. Just because you feel closer, there's a big circus. It can feel like it's larger than it is. At the end of the day, it's another series, and we're playing another great team, and you got to beat them before anything else happens. So they have our complete focus. All of our energy is in going into beating the Florida Panthers. There should be nothing else on anyone's mind.
do you like the fact that it's going to be the same thing? You know already the Panthers and play 7 games against them.
Yeah, I think there's familiarity there. We know what to expect from their game. I think they know what to expect from ours. They're an aggressive, in-your-face, quick team. We played a team like that in LA, I would say. So, there's a little bit of that familiarity there. Obviously, they're the champs. It's their third final in 3 years. They're a great team. You can't say enough good things. So, as I said, they have our complete focus. Going to be a great challenge, and we're excited about it.
Connor, you and Leon have been trying to Stanley Cup now for 10 years. To go through this process to be in the Cup final for a second year in a row with him, what does that mean to have a guy like him, with you through this whole thing?
I think all the core guys have been at this together for a long time. I think it has to be that way. We've showed a great deal of commitment to each other, to the organization, to the city. And it's brought us to this point again. Just another kick at the can. We're obviously excited about that. It's great to be doing that with your brothers, the guys that you've been with all along. So, yeah, excited.
Last year in the handshake line, Travis was able to get extra, some of that effect. I know it's something that maybe gets in the moment a lot, but was there any doubt in your mind that this is where you'd be again this year? Were those
Obviously there's a lot of turnover from year to year. We had a lot of turnover. Is there any doubt? I don't know if we think about it that way. It takes a lot to get back here. Obviously they know that. We know that. it takes a lot. You got to play a lot of good hockey. You got to have a lot of bounces go your way. You got to make your own luck in a lot of ways as well. So I would say, is there doubt? I don't know. We've always been preparing to be in this moment. We're comfortable here, comfortable playing in big games. We've showed that all along. So, yeah, just, yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if you buy into the notion of you need to lose before you can win. That applies, but guys of your stature, whether it's Crosby or even Wayne Gretzky have done that. What do you think about that? Trying to lose, and then there's something you learn that can help you second round.
If you asked me this question last year, I'd probably say no. Now that we've lost, I'll say yeah. Of course, you got to lose before you win. Yeah, I don't know. I think you hear everybody say it. Just keep giving yourselves opportunities to be in this position. Keep giving yourself chances to win, and eventually it happens. We've done that. We've put ourselves in another good spot. Learned a lot of lessons last year in that month that we can use this year.
We all know your relationship with Say how much you admire him. Do you remember that first cup that he got, and then that famous ad and him winning, the one where he said that I never want to be in this picture again. That resonates with you?
I don't remember the commercial, but obviously I remember the cup. I remember him losing the year before and going back and playing the same team, and I see obviously the parallels that everyone wants to write about. At the end of the day, this is a different story, different teams, different group. Just excited to have another kick at the can here. That's all.
Corey Perry comes in last year with you guys. I mean, what does he mean to this group on off the ice for a guy who's still doing it at his age?
Yeah, it means a lot to the group. Just a calming presence, calming in the room. Makes great subtle little plays on the ice. I said it before. His gamesmanship, just kind of understands the ebbs and flows of the games, the kind of the intricacies that not every fan sitting at home understands. He's played in every big game. He's won. He's done all that. He means a lot in our room, and he's still playing at such a high level. It's fun to see.
Connor, just going back to the regular season, a lot of people from the outside of this group were talking about how this team needs a little bit more of a stay-at-home defender, or something similar to that build, and then Stan Bowman goes out and gets Wallman and gets Klingberg. Can you maybe talk about how much those two players and the rest of the additions have changed the complexion of this team compared to last year? How much quicker you guys are able to play?
I think D-men are so important. And every time that this group has gone out and added a D-man, it's really taken our group to the next level. I think about a couple of years ago we had Kulak and what that did for our group. Bushi taking a step has done wonders for our group. We go out and get Ekholm, and all of a sudden we're in the conference final, or whatever. And Wallman's just been the same way, and Klingberg stepping in has been so big for our group. Obviously with Eki going down early, so D-men are so important, and obviously we've got a bunch of really good ones, and helps a lot.
You mentioned Bouchard. Have you ever seen somebody play as composed as Bouchard? Giantitis. I mean, he doesn't get fazed by anything.
No. Bushi is amazing that way. Nothing phases him. Big games, big moments. Makes a mistake. Nothing rattles him. It's amazing to see. He's really elevated his game as well. I think more so in his own zone has been fantastic. He's been on the kill. Been doing what he does. He's great.
Connor, I just wondering if there's something off in your skates today. It looked like you were getting comfortable.
Yeah, definitely. Just a fun game Langer and I like to play. Just working through some skate stuff. Trying to find the right pair. Yeah.
Connor, when you get here, everybody knows what's at stake. You did it last year, and now. Does your appreciation for what's at stake change now that you're back here and you're that close?
What do you mean?
You know what it is, but you've been through it now.
Yeah.
So, do you have an appreciation for where you are? Or is it different?
It's different in the sense that it feels less big, Last year felt, monumental, felt very dramatic. This year feels very normal. So I would say that feels different that way.
To that end, talking to Doug Armstrong the other day, he was saying that between that, you going through what you did last year, I know I mentioned this in Dallas, but then the high of the four nations, according to him, he says, now there's nothing that can happen in the next 2 weeks that will surprise you. You've been through the highs and the lows. Is that accurate?
For sure. And just the comfort of knowing that, you've played in the biggest game there is to play, maybe an Olympic final, Four Nations final, Stanley Cup Game 7. I mean, those are the biggest of the big games. This group obviously has played in one of those games, came out on the wrong side, but just having gone through that, I think we're better for it. As I said, just more comfortable. I'm sure everybody says that's kind of gone through it the second time. It's just more normal, comfortable, easier to play and function when it's just another day.
On the ice, for you guys to style play the way it's spoken, what ways are you better now than you were this time last year? I don't mean the experience, I mean the style.
Yeah. I think just another year having played our system, you're just a little bit more comfortable. The reads are a little bit quicker, knowing where the breakdowns are, knowing where to help. I think you see that in the D zone. If there's a breakdown, there's usually somebody that is there to help. I think we've been really good in our own zone, and systematically, I would say we've been really solid.
Transition to D, does that fit standard? The additions you've made, the idea of getting the puck up to the floor, you guys maybe a little bit expert in that?
I'd say for sure. My answer to the previous question is just how important DER. I don't think they get enough love for how hard it is to go back and break pucks out and move pucks up the ice and block shots and do all the things that are really, really hard and maybe not as sexy as scoring a big goal, but just equally as important. And I think our D-men do an amazing job of that. They're simple, go back, break pucks out, defend hard. They're great back there.
We think of you as this lifelong pursuit of the Stanley Cup. I don't know if that's true. Like, when did it start for you? When did you first, see the cup and think, I'm going to win that thing one day? Was there a moment? Was there a cup that you won? Is that accurate? That's part of the
Well, yeah, I think as a kid growing up, you have such an appreciation for seeing teams that win and seeing the cup brought out and obviously seeing Sid win. Growing up, being a Sid fan, that was pretty cool to see. There's steps to everything, and when you're a kid, you want to just play in the NHL. When you're a kid, and then you want to be successful and do all these great things, and then there comes a point where it's only about winning. And I think this group hit that point years and years ago, and we've been on the so you want to say if it's a lifelong thing, I don't know about that, but it's for sure been a few years here with this core, and we're looking to finish the job.
Disappointment last night coming back and getting another crack.
Yeah, feel good as of now. Just been preparing, doing my thing, just like any of us, so it's exciting.
How tough was it for yourself personally to get over that Game 7 loss? You're a guy that puts things away in front of you. Was that, did it eat at you a little bit?
I mean, if I'm going to be completely honest here, I thought I put it away quick, but definitely internally there was something buried. That's kind of the easy way to do it. Instead of thinking about it and trying to process it, I kind of stuffed it down a bit. So kind of bit me in the butt kind of halfway through my summer last year. And then I was able to kind of, look back at it, process it, obviously he didn't want it to eat at me going into the season. So, yeah, I mean, human nature.
Is it a little harder to put something like that away when it's you're playing for your hometown team, like the childhood team you cheer for? Is this just a little bit more difficult to put it away with that context?
Well, it depends how I look at it. I think in my perspective, I wasn't looking at it so much as like hometown kid, any of that. It's just something that you've wanted to win your whole life, right? Something that you've worked for your whole life. So yeah, not much tougher in that sense. Maybe a little bit tougher because it's a Canadian market. You know, all of Canada's watching you. All of Canada's disappointed in you. And I mean, nature of the game, you get some heat.
And what does it mean to get back to this point again, especially after the roller coaster? Like, it goes up and down all season, but ultimately you're back here.
Yeah, I mean that's just a credit to our perseverance. Once again, you know, it's kind of the story of the Oilers. Like, you get knocked down, we just keep on getting back up, right? And you've seen that in all the playoffs this year, as individuals, as a team. So, yeah, to be honest, just the way that we keep on moving forward. You know, we lose the cup last year, and we're back here again, being able to get that opportunity, and that's nothing but just complete excitement.
What did you learn about yourself with the Stanley Cup last year?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we can go way back if you guys want.
Just the whole 7-game thing. What do you learn?
Yeah, no, for sure. I think a lot of it for me is emotions. You know, I think all series long, you get so caught up in the emotions of it. You know, there's some sleepless nights. It's hard to nap, hard to eat sometimes. You know, like it's just all those emotions that kind of come into play, right? So, I think I learned a lot about myself in that scenario, and I'm really grateful for that experience that I got last year, because this year I feel pretty well the complete opposite.
What about playing against Draisaitl? He's an older goalie.
How old is he?
36.
36. That's young.
Playing against him, what was that like?
Oh, I mean, it was amazing playing against him. He's one of the best goalies in the world. I've been in the Stanley Cup Finals three times now in a row. Impressive goalie, skates well. Technically, I don't think there's much wrong with him. I don't think there's anything wrong with him in my perspective. But no, he's exceptional. I remember in the lineup last year too. You know, just how kind he was too. You know, to somebody who just lost. So nothing but love to him, and you know, really excited to play him again.
Stuart, there's that moment that Zach said, "I know that we're going to be back. I know it in my heart." Did you feel that was shared amongst the room, especially throughout this season?
Oh yeah, for sure. We've kept that in our pocket all year long. We've been saying it to each other all year long. Again, there's just nothing but belief in our group. Zach said that, and all of us, you know, especially in a moment of that kind of emotion, right when you lose, he brought a lot of leadership in that moment. So you know, obviously the situation that he's in right now gives us some more juice to play for him.
You talked about this team getting knocked down. I think just what's for you personally kept you getting back up?
Lifetime of hardships, lifetime of moments of success, all of it. I mean, all of it that, you know, you get to experience, and you think it's the end of the world, or you think it's, you know, so tough, and you know, you get a choice to make in that moment to either get back up or to give up. And I've always had the true belief that whatever you do, if you just never ever give up, that you'll be able to do it. And I believe that for anybody.
Stu, they're bringing in some samples of ice from some of the different rinks where some of you guys played your minor hockey. There's going to be a little piece of Confederation floating around out there.
Nice.
Over the series here. I mean, I know this is your hometown anyways. You're just a lot closer to home than some guys. But.
Yeah, absolutely. So, sorry, what exactly is happening?
Well, they're going out and collecting some ice samples and bringing them in thermoses or whatever, and then mixing them into
our ice.
Here, so it's going to be.
That's pretty cool. That's really cool. Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I'll have a piece of some wins and some losses with me at all times. That's really cool. Either way, the ice is going to be great. The guys do a great job here. So, yeah, that's a cool story. I like that.
I can imagine you thought when you were skating around in Confederation that, one day front center, big stage.
Yeah, that's super cool. Yeah, I mean, all the buildings that I was able to play in as a young kid, it just brings you back to those good memories, right? Where you're kind of just playing and having fun, and whether you let in a goal or you stop a puck, you're just a kid having a good time. So, that's pretty cool. Thanks for that. I mean, no. I mean, when you get scored on, it's a little bit worse. But yeah, I mean, nature of being a goalie.
So do you replay as a hometown guy?
Yeah.
Big picture. What have Connor and Leon meant to do?
I mean, yeah. I mean, they've been in this organization for a long time now. What they've been able to do throughout the years, clearly impressive. 2 of the best players in the world. I mean, I feel like everyone knows how much they mean to the Oilers now. Obviously, captain, assistant captain. They got a lot of leadership, a lot of fire within them, the way that they are able to define games. Big players and big moments. I could talk about those 2 guys just like anybody else for a long time. I'm sure you could talk about them for a while. So, yeah, impressive players.
You played well the first 3 games of the finals last year. Were you thinking to yourself, "Oh, we down 3?" Like you didn't give up very many goals.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden the Oilers start scoring 1 million goals, and then all of a sudden you're getting 7.
Yeah. Thank you for that. That's kind of you to say. I mean, again, it's like being a goalie, right? Even this year, I can tell you guys a couple games where I felt that I played amazing and let in 5. There's been games where I felt terrible and got a shutout. So it's just the nature of being a goalie. There's so many things that can kind of happen. So many bounces. I mean, hockey, it's not like any other sport. There's 10 sticks out there. There's shin pads. Puck can bounce off anything, right? So, no matter how I play, no matter how things kind of roll, we have a job to, again, keep on moving forward and do our job and just do our best in the moment for whatever the moment asks us.
So when you said you thought about it in the summer, Game 7, did you replay the goals, the 2 goals again? You replay the Reinhardt goal, maybe? Because that was
Yeah, no, to be honest, no, not really. You kind of just watch. I think I watched it kind of a little bit closer to the season. I'm not too sure why, maybe for a little motivation, but no, I remember watching that game. Great game. I mean, I kind of watched it to get the emotions out of it, to be honest. Sometimes after a game, you feel like you played amazing, and you watch it, and you're like, okay, you're not that good. And then sometimes it's the opposite. You feel terrible, and you watch it, you're like, okay, well, you actually played pretty good. So I kind of, watching it, just kind of took the emotions out of it. I mean, hard to say. As a goalie, my perspective is giving your team a chance to win. And, we kept it at 1. That's obviously not just me. That's our defense. That's our forwards tracking back. That's, our PK. That's so many things. So we definitely had a chance to win for sure. But again, I mean, that's hockey, Some bounces go your way, some don't. You definitely need luck to get in the position that we're in right now. And you need a little bit of luck to win it, but majority of it comes from your hard work and your discipline.
So you said about the handshake line, he was very gracious to you. What does the losing goalie say?
Yeah, I mean, you just congratulate a guy. I mean, especially goalie to goalie, I thought he stole a couple games for them. So that was kind of my main message of just, you were a huge, obviously a massive part in winning the Cup. You stole some games. You made it really hard on us. Congratulations. You really deserve it. And that's hard to do, obviously, when you're in the midst of, being crushed and in the midst of crying. So, you got to, in a moment like that, you got to, be a man about it and, be kind to everybody. I mean, it's one of their best days of their lives. So I'm not going to have my own little pity party with them. I mean, I would love that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, that's the dream, right? But at the same time, we got a lot of work to do here. We, it's going to be a while till that handshake line. And I'm really excited to start that work tomorrow.
When you said that you disappointed last
last June didn't hit you till halfway through the summer. What caused it to hit you? Then, like, what was that moment?
Yeah, well, I think for me it's just human nature. Everyone does it, but you kind of just stuff things down just because it's the easiest way to kind of deal with something like that. So I stuffed it down. I'm normally pretty good with that stuff. I normally open up the wound pretty quickly, but it took me a little while in the last summer. And who really helped me with that was my wife. I was like, "Oh, I'm totally fine," and she was like, "I don't think you are." So she really helped me in that moment, and I mean that's what family's all about, right? Making sure that you're okay and that you're taken care of, and that opened up the wound, and I was able to process it and take care of it, and now it's in the past.
So how do you process it? You talk to your wife, you talk to teammates, like what is that like?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit of it is on your own. So for me, I journaled a lot. I have a lot of amazing people in my life, like my wife. I have some amazing coaches. I got a lot of people in my corner where I'm able to talk to and just have those conversations with. It's really just conversations, right? Just to kind of get it out, word vomit a bit, let all the emotion out of it. So that's what I was able to do.
When you talked about losing and letting the Oilers down and letting Canada down, it's a big thing to think about.
Yeah.
You visualized the opposite of that, winning for Canada, winning for this organization?
Yeah, I've definitely visualized that. You might think I'm a little wild, but I visualized both parts. Losing again and being able to win again. It's a different year. I feel completely different. I think everybody in our room feels different. And you got to prepare for kind of everything. There's so many things that can kind of happen. So, I've definitely visualized it. I've done all the manifestation tricks.
Do you still journal? Did that help you during this playoffs?
Yeah. I mean, I've been journaling for the last maybe 5-6 years. I've done a lot of work on my mind for the last 8-9 years. So ever since I was 18, so maybe longer, maybe my math's off. But I've been doing a lot of work, journaling, meditation, a lot of stuff, just to, calm the mind down, get some stuff out. Again, there's so many emotions. There's, the media, all the stories that's out there. Hometown kid. All this fun stuff, and it's good to just try to be as present as I possibly can. I think that's kind of my main goal through all this. I think last year with all the emotions, you can sometimes get away from the present moment, and those things are just little tools that can really help you.
A lot has been said about the returning players and the maturity of this team, but you guys also have a lot of new players who haven't been in this position.
Yeah.
How has the team kind of brought them in, got them on board with this mentality throughout the playoffs?
Yeah, it's actually really cool. It's a great question. It's really, really cool because normally in a moment like that, being new players, it could feel like it's your first time going to the finals. For some guys, it is. But the way that the whole room feels, it's all like the energy that we're kind of bringing, and I think that they feel that energy and they know that we're in a different spot, so they can just be on board and feel that. So it's actually really cool how it just feels like everyone's on board because we are.
What's the biggest difference this year? So this time's totally different. What's the biggest difference?
I think, again, I'll probably be talking a lot about just emotions, but I think mostly emotions. Again, last year it's your first time doing it for everybody. Well, not for everybody, but as a team. And that can bring a lot of excitement, obviously, right? A lot of energy. So, again, talking about like pregame naps, sometimes it's a little bit harder to nap, tougher sleep or whatever the case may be, just because you're thinking about it. Where this year it's different because we've already done it. We've already gone through it, and to be honest, we've gone through the worst case scenario, losing Game 7. So, it's kind of a little bit of been there, done that.
Stuart, what have you learned about this group over the last 6 weeks specifically?
I think resiliency when we're backed up against the wall, just being able to kind of fight through. I also think the way that we've been able to battle, even though that you're up, 2-1, 3-1 in the series, has been massive. Just the commitment to detail. No matter what situation we're in, the willingness to battle and fight, and we don't have to do it in a pretty way. We can do it in a dirty way.
I guess you grew up about the Oilers legacy. How was it for
Oh, it was awesome. Loved being an Oilers fan. Again, like it's I've said this before, but I was always that kid chanting "Nuge" and always cheering on Rolly the goalie, all Delorier, Happy Boulin, all the guys, you know. So I've been an Oilers fan for a really long time, and even the goalies that I've watched live that played for the Oilers, I've stolen a couple things from them, even if just like sweeping your ice and the stick tap and all that fun stuff. So I've always been a huge fan of the Oilers, and as fate had it, I'm able to play for them. I mean, it would be huge. Yeah, absolutely, to say the least. Yeah, I would love that. I think, being able to grow up in Edmonton, being able to win the cup in Edmonton, I think that'd be pretty sweet. What do you think? Yeah.
It's by that, and sometimes you don't always see it, but you know it's there. And man, when it comes out, it's noticeable. But it's in there, it's burning, and nobody else wants it more than him.
Corey, to be in a Stanley Cup final, your son's getting older now, you can probably appreciate what this all is. What does that mean to you that, he's getting a bit older and can understand kind of what's going on and everything now?
Yeah, he's 7, he'll be 8 in August, and he's been around, and he's seen it, but being 3 years old, I'm not sure you understand it.
Does this just feel like a tradition every summer now? This has just been happening?
Yeah. I think he kind of expects it. No, but to have him here, and he knows everybody in the league. He knows what positions they play, who's leading scorer, all the things, because he's watching the highlights every single morning and playing mini sticks at the same time before school. So, this is why I'm still playing too, is to, have him have an opportunity to feel and touch the Stanley Cup, and it's something that I want to give him.
Did he lobby to get out of school today, or was that your idea?
When they messaged us, it was a pretty quick yes.
Corey, these summers, I imagine you've probably developed somewhat of a routine for dealing with kind of what it's like to get so close and not quite taste it. What is that like going through that so many times in such a short span?
Tough. It gets tougher each and every summer. But at the same time, it puts that fire inside you and keeps it burning, and you have that opportunity again this year to rewrite that script, and that's what we're trying to do.
How do you handle those summers from a physical standpoint, as far as you've had a lot of short ones?
There's been some short ones, yeah. It's it's not easy, because you try to give your body some time to rest, but you also, you're like, man, we got to be back in camp in 6 weeks. So it's tough, because you gotta get ready, you gotta put in the work, but at the same time you have to try to let your body heal, because it's a grind, it's a long season, and then you get into the playoffs, and the level gets notched up that much more.
I know that when you came to Edmonton, it wasn't under the best circumstances. What can you say about the way you've been accepted by the community, the fans, and your team here?
Yeah, as soon as I got here, everybody was open arms and excited that I was coming, and it's the situation that happened. It happened. I've dealt with it, and I've learned from it, and it's it was unfortunate, but it's something that I went through and we had to deal with. But being here, it's been exciting. The fans, the players, the coaches, training staff, everybody's been pretty open.
Yeah, it seems like the fans have really, really accepted you. Do you feel that from them?
Sometimes, yeah. Yeah. No, they have been. They've been amazing, and everywhere we go, they're respectful, but they're excited, and we're all excited.
Have you ever had a simple conversation, say with a Marchand, Jim and Kachuk about what you guys do, and
Definitely not on the ice.
yeah.
No, I played with Marshy, a couple tournaments. I had him, we were together at the World Championships, and then at the World Cup, and he's a tremendous guy, and it's just when that puck drops and there's a switch that flips inside, and things just happen. That's just the way we're built. Just the way our mind works, and I don't think we'd be as effective if we weren't doing that.
Barry, it might be a crazy question given how you played this season, but have you spent any time thinking about retirement in the past?
Not really, no. No. It's just not in me to think about it. There's other things that I love doing. I love playing. I love being around the room, and I don't think that's going to come in my head anytime soon either. And it's just who I am.
So be back next year?
That's the plan. Is to be back next year. Yeah.
Going back to Brad, is it a bit of a does it mess with your head a little bit when you're so used to what he's like on the ice and then you become your teammate and he's actually kind of different? What is it like to be on the flip side when he's playing with you now against?
Well, I think you can say that to a lot of guys in this league, and probably every single person that you've played against. I'm sure you've had a run-in with them at some point in time, and when they come to your team or you get to see them off the ice away from the game, you realize that they're just human beings and they're normal people, and I remember when Kessler came to Anaheim, we had many battles when he was in Vancouver, and then he came over, and all of a sudden he's your teammate, he's your friend, he's your best friend, and still talk to this day. So it's pretty cool to see that all come about.
Corey, I asked the same question to Leon. I wonder how much time it took you to push aside the result of last summer, and is that experience with everything that you lived in your career so far something that you can use to help the players to go through what happened last year against the Senators?
I don't think that feeling ever leaves you. I think it burns inside you. You use it as motivation, and you know what? It's thinking about it's tough, but you have another opportunity to rewrite the story, and that's what we keep talking about is rewriting that story, and the story's not over. Well, you could see right from the start that he's a guy that can skate and defend, and now he's playing big minutes for us and playing a big role, penalty kill, shutting down the other team's top lines, just different things that he can do, to be a part of it, and you need those guys on your team.
Griffin, taking questions?
Sure. You want to take a question?
Sure.
How do you think your dad's playing?
Good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Right.
Do you play hockey, Griffin?
Yes.
What position do you play?
Center.
Center. Okay.
It's hard for him to teach me.
Yeah. It's hard for me to teach you?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you had a pretty good teacher though, don't you?
Yeah.
Who's your teacher?
Leon.
Yeah.
What have you learned from him?
How to win face-offs.
Yeah.
Griffin, I know you're always at the rink. What's your favorite part about coming at the rink?
Shooting the rink. Shooting pucks in the rink.
I love it.
Yeah.
What did you think of practice today?
What do you think of practice?
It was good.
It was upbeat? It
Yeah.
was good?
Yeah.
Crispy? Were the guys crispy?
Yeah.
That's good.
Kinda.
He has no idea, do you?
No idea.
No, he has no idea.
How jealous are your friends at school?
No idea.
Well, they don't know that you're here, right?
Nope.
Maybe tomorrow they'll find out.
I think they think I'm sick.
Yeah. Yeah. It's perfect.
Learn how to play a different way. Obviously, I struggle doing it. But I think I learned from that, and I got experience from that, and that's the exciting part. What I feel like with moving on is, okay, if I feel like I can start moving the way I expect my body to reacting to everything, I have the experience of that and how to play injured. And together with that, I think I become a better player.
I was going to say, you have reinvented your role. You don't have to be the same guy you were in Dallas.
Exactly, and I don't think whatever's going to happen, that's not the expectation moving forward either. If I just look at myself, I want to be part of something great that I am right now, and if I play less minutes, so be it. I just want to win. Just want to be a part of a team that's successful, and here we are.
Do you feel like you're fine-tuning this new role? Yeah, a little bit. I would say they're getting learning more about molding them.
Yeah. I think so. I mean, there's still times in the game where I feel like I want to do that. I can be an offensive threat, but that's something that I work with my entire career, keeping myself in a leash a little bit, just not trying to do too much, just let the game come to me. And I think that's something that I've been doing a really good job with this playoffs. I mean, we know that we're going to have players that's going to score goals. That's just the way it is. Our power play is lethal. We have the best players in the world. If I can just take care of my own zone, keeping the chances down, which I think has been good, maybe a little bit up and down, but overall pretty good. I know I'm going to break out the puck, help the guys create up front, and we're going to win games.
Different players with the regular season, of course, you were injured, Wallman was injured, just to name a few. The whole team was dealing with injuries. Can you maybe talk about how quickly you guys have been able to pick up the game plan that Chris Dahlbach and the rest of the coaches have laid down, and how quickly you guys are playing, especially in terms of moving that puck?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's credit to the guys in the team and the coaches because they've been nailing it every single day. This is how we want to play. This is what we expect from you guys. And ultimately, if you do that, that's what's going to happen. So I would say that. I mean, someone goes down, someone else has to step up. That's just the way it is. And I think credit to the guys, like especially Connor and Leon. Like they driving the bus, but they have guys behind them that's following them too. And it's an experienced team. And I think with the run they had last year, they learned a lot from that too. And that's been helping for sure.
You have lots of experience. Is this one of the fastest teams when it comes to making decisions and moving the puck, and obviously team speed as well? Fastest teams that you've ever played on?
I think so. I mean, we do have the fastest player, but we also have a few players that is not like overly fast. But I think what's making us good is we have a lot of great communication on the ice, and we know where. If I go back for a puck, we know where the other guy is going to be at. And if you know that and you have guys talking on the ice, you're going to look fast. Pucks move in, you expect one to be on the route, and then you're out of the zone. So that makes you look a lot faster if you move the puck like that.
How would you explain the culture of the Oilers compared to some of the other teams that you've been on in the past?
I mean, like I said, I think it starts with Connor and Leon. They've been here since day one they came in the league. They've been building something really good, and they had a lot of support behind them with Nugent, Hopkins, Nurse, Hyman, now Ekholm too. That is following them, and then everyone else is following too. And obviously that starts with the foundation of Connor and Leon.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it's the ultimate revenge kind of matchup too, right? With them coming into our building for the first couple of games, and all focus is on game one as of right now. But doesn't really matter who's on the other side when that silver shiny thing is on the line. You're going to want to win.
When you were with Nashville, what was it like playing against Ryan Nugent-Hopkins?
Yeah, it's a frustrating thing to play against him because he seems to always be on the right side of things, and obviously a gifted scorer, a gifted passer. But I think the thing that stands out to me is his two-way game. Never out of a situation, always in the right spot, always helping his D-men or helping his forwards, and he's kind of that Swiss Army knife, if you will. You can kind of insert him anywhere, and he'll excel, and he's a heck of a player for us.
What does he mean in the rim? Like, he's been in Edmonton longer than anybody at this point.
Yeah,
He's great. Obviously, he's a very calm guy, and he, he's one of those guys when he speaks up, you listen, right? So those are key guys to have on your team, and I think we're super happy to have Ryan on our team.
Thanks so much.
Matthias, how you doing, man?
Good. How are you?
Good, thanks. Look, there are a lot of rats playing in the Stanley Cup final, so I just want to get your take on who you think the biggest rat in the series is.
I think that they can play that style, do whatever. We're trying to keep our eyes on the prize and try to not get tangled up too much in that conversation or anything like that. We try to play our game. I think that you look back at the first 3 games of last year's finals, they kind of had their way with us, and we got to make sure we come out better than we did last year.
How about on the Oilers? Who would you say is your team's biggest rat?
I'll say my neighbor, Corey Perry.
Okay, he's gotten a couple answers, so thank you.
There you go.
Matthias, over the last 6 weeks, I know that you've mostly been watching, but even stepping in against Dallas, what have you learned about this group over the last 6 weeks?
A ton. I think we have learned a lot about ourselves. I think just knowing sometimes when you start a first-round series and go down 2-0, there's easily some doubt creeping into your game and minds and whatnot, but knowing and getting out of that first round, I think a lot of guys in the room just felt like, okay, we're a good team. Like we know there wasn't a fluke last year. We can be back easy. So just knowing that and having gone through that again this year helps a lot with the mentality of and the morale of the guys, knowing that we are this good. We just got to make sure we bring our A game and we can beat anybody.
When you think about this city tomorrow and also just this building in general, how do you guys balance between soaking that in but also making sure that you're ready for the present moment?
Yeah, I think that's where the experience from last year is going to be valuable. Obviously, going through it once against this team, and we know the building's going to be crazy. We know everything. There's no surprises anymore, and that everybody's just excited and focused on getting that game won and making sure we're ready to go when the puck drops.
That Pears has, I think you learn things along the way that not many other guys have, and it's just the way he goes about his business every single day, and it just rubs off on the players around him.
Last year, this matchup felt so full of emotion, and so looking ahead to this year, do you have any expectations of how that would match up, and how do you manage using last year's experience to help you with momentum swings and just managing emotions again?
Yeah, I think every player on the team has grown a lot as a player and improved their game, so that's always a good thing, and you get that from going through what we went through last year and to put ourselves back in this position this year. So I think for us, it was a roller coaster of a series to go down 3 and then win 3 and get ourselves back in it. So all I can say is we're excited for this year, and definitely everyone's excited to start on home ice.
What does Corey Perry mean to this group? The guy on and off the ice, and he's still doing it at 40.
Yeah.
What does he mean?
Yeah, he's inspiring, and can't say enough good things about him. He doesn't wear a letter for the team, but he's without a doubt a leader in the room, and he brings his experience and rubs it off on everyone around him for sure. In practice, in games, he never takes a day off, and I think that's good, and he's helped push our team a long way.
Gamesmanship's a big part of this game at this point as a defenseman. How annoying is it for the other side to feel the guy just toe that line and sort of just knows the dark arts of this time of year? Yeah,
exactly. Like you talk about kind of walking that line, and that comes with his experience too. He knows what he can get away with and what's crossing the line and is going to cost him a penalty, and he can do that as good as anyone in the league, and that's hard when you're dealing with a guy around the net. For me as a defenseman, and he's a big body too, coming to the net, and he's spinning, and he's getting off you, and he's getting a stick on pucks, and he's just creating a mess around the net, and it wears you down as a D-man.
Sorry for hopping in a little late. Sorry, do you want to go ahead? Sorry about that. You probably already answered this, so I apologize. But just being here, I mean, seeing this media day, Stanley Cup final, Game 1 tomorrow. What's it like being back in this moment, given the experience that you had last year?
Yeah, it's what's been on our mind all season. I think that was the job. We wanted to work and give ourselves an opportunity to be in this position, and then and go from there. So to be here, the game's a little more than 24 hours away. I think everyone's kind of feeling that little nervous excitement, and we're looking forward for the puck to drop on game one. So, yeah, it's been a long year and a long road to get here, but yeah, we can't wait to get started.
3 years, 3 times in 5 years for you to get to the final. Obviously, you haven't got the result you wanted, but what have you learned from the previous 2 that can help you? And I know every series is different, but what do you feel you can take from the last 2 that's going to lead you to maybe changing the result this year?
Yeah, I think you just learn you don't change your game at all. What you do to get here works also in the finals, I think. And you don't need to come in and think you got to be some kind of player you're not or you haven't been before. We're going to lean on our experience through the season and through the playoffs here, and every player has grown and gotten a lot better since this time last year. So I think we come in with that approach, and so far in the playoffs, every series from game 1 throughout, we've just gotten stronger and stronger in our play, and I think we expect more of that.
A little easier because just from all the family commitments, right? You're trying to organize tickets and everything. You've gone through it a few times now. Is that almost old hat now? You kind of know what to expect?
Yeah, exactly. There is a lot of stuff, a lot of side business you got to do like that. So it's been nice to have a few days before game 1 here to kind of set some deadlines with people and get the requests in, and now you just focus on the game. So.
Brett, most of the guys who were there last year say we know what's waiting for us. We know what's ahead. We have experience in that, so we don't have as many emotion as we had last year. What's your message for the new guys like the Jake Wallman, the Vasily Podkolzin, who never live it? Do you say, "Oh, guy, don't be too high," or you say, "No, it's not over. It's not over yet," or you say, "No, enjoy what you're living right now because you never know when it's going to happen"?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both. I think you got to lean on the emotion and the energy it's going to bring you, and use that to your advantage. It's going to give you some legs and a little extra adrenaline at times in the games, but at the same time, just keep doing what you've been doing to get to this point. I think that's important. All the guys who this is their first time, they're all great players, and they've all been a huge part of why we're here. So I think they just need to keep doing what they've been doing.
Do you notice that they're a little more excited, maybe, than the guy who this is the first?
Yeah, maybe they're looking around a little more, soaking it in a little more. But everyone, you always dream of being in the Cup final and win the Stanley Cup. So no matter if it's your 10th time there, or your first time there, I'm sure it's always going to feel good and extra special.
You guys have been here before, so you've got the experience, you've got the motivation because of what happened. So you're healthier than you've ever been coming into this. You're 12-2 in your last 4 games. How does that translate into the confidence level?
Yeah, I think there's no reason why we shouldn't be confident, and I think we are. We, like you say, we haven't lost much in the last few rounds of the playoffs here, and we've just gotten better and better as the games went on, and I think that's a good sign. And yeah, we don't need to come into game 1 and try to change anything or try to be someone we're not. We're a really good team, and we know that, and we know we're good enough to get the job done. So we're just going to come and be at our best.
I think it was Paul Maurice who said both teams have improved significantly. For the Panthers, they've really improved offensively, and you guys have really improved your defensive game. Can you maybe talk about that matchup and how it might be an improved matchup somehow compared to last year?
Yeah, I think that's a good statement. I think I haven't seen much of them, watched too much of them, but I'm sure everyone on their team's gotten a lot better too. But for us, I've seen firsthand how guys have improved their game, how they've can chip in different areas where maybe they weren't as comfortable with last year, and everyone's stepping up offensively, and everyone's buying in defensively and knowing the importance of that game. So I think it's been nice to see. It's been a long season, and we've played really good, I thought, through the playoffs here after the first couple of games getting started, and a little bit of a wake-up call and a reminder of what it takes to win in the playoffs, and our ability to just find ways to get wins no matter how they come, and be comfortable with having a boring game or not a flashy game. That's been a big step for us.
The Stanley Cup final in his first 2 years as a head coach. Now, he never talks about his part of the team getting here, but just a thought on what you've observed and, the part that Chris has played in, the Oilers rebounding in the series against LA and then continuing on their journey to get here.
Yeah, thanks, Bob. I was watching from afar last year, and I was impressed with Chris, just his knowledge of the game and the way he explained things. And then I got a chance to meet him when I got here, and I've been incredibly impressed with his job as the coach. I don't think he gets enough recognition for the way that he's managed this group through this season. It's been a challenging year at times with injuries, and Chris has been able to manage that group and keep things on track all year long. I think he's done a great job. I'm really impressed with the way that he handles our players as well as makes adjustments. I think we see the game the same way, and when we have conversations about our team, I would say most of the time we're aligned in that, and certainly that makes it easier. But you don't always agree on everything, but I think he's a really smart guy, so when we talk things through, he always comes up with a game plan to prepare our team. So I think we wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for the job that Chris and the whole staff has done. They've done a tremendous job this year. I've really enjoyed working with them, and can't wait to keep it going.
Left side, second row, Jason.
Chris, the second year, is it that much easier for you? You sit up here, you were here exactly almost a year ago. How much more confident are you and maybe more in control of the situation than you were the first time?
I don't know how much is different from last year, just the fact that we're more familiar with it. We know the routine, we know the opponent. There's a lot of unknowns last year. Now that we've been here, we're just a little more, I don't know what I would say, comfortable, but we just know what the routine is. Do we feel we're a bit stronger, a little more confident? Yeah, maybe, but we also know the other team's probably stronger than they were last year also. So, we're going to have to play our best to give ourselves an opportunity. But as for getting prepared, I think it's just we're just more familiar of what like today is and what the travel's like and what it's going to be like going back and forth. That's about it.
Right side, front row, Marty.
Hi, Chris. I'm just wondering, the Panthers play such a in-your-face, intimidating game. How do you counter that?
Well, we've got our share of players that like that physicality too. Certainly don't think we're shy from that play. Even last year, I think our team's made up a little bit different than it was last year. But probably the best way to counter that is just moving the puck well. The longer you hold on to it, the more time they get to get in and finish their checks. So I think it's important that we're moving it quickly, but also precisely. And, if you're just sloppy with the puck, then you're probably chasing the game for most of it. So, they're a lot of credit to them. They are a good forward-checking team. They finish their checks quite regularly. And, we expect to be hit. But we're not a team that shies away from that. Like, we've been played a lot of teams last year and this year throughout the playoffs that like that physicality, and our guys are pretty accepting of it.
Left side, third row, Jonathan.
Hello. Okay. Question for Chris. Can you qualify and talk about the work that Brett Kulak has done since the beginning of the playoffs, especially against the Stars and Mikko Rantanen?
Brett is a very smart hockey player, a guy that really elevates his game, and you go through our lineup, and it's nice to know that there's guys that play better in the playoffs. So, it's difficult. There's more, the game changes a little bit from the regular season to the playoffs, and Brett's a guy that's played better in the playoffs, and I heard it even before I got to the team, or when I joined the team before we were in playoffs last year, about how good of a playoff player he is. And the previous year, because of injuries or whatever happened, they had to rely on him a lot more. And last year, he was on that third pair, played probably 14 to 16 minutes, and then the playoffs rolled around, and it was a much bigger role. And this year, same thing. He played quite a bit during the regular season, and then the playoffs, he continued that, especially with the absence of Matthias Ekholm. And we needed more from him, and he absolutely, and when I say more from him, he just was on the ice more and was able to play key minutes against key players like Rantanen and Kopitar, and not only that, but playing left side, right side, being very versatile. And I think a lot of that is because he is a smart player, he's competitive, but then also a a tremendous skater. He's able to get around the ice very well, and that mobility has allowed him to check players, top players, whether they're physical or fast. Really helps him.
Right side, second row, Derek.
Hey, Stan. When you came in here, I just wanted to get your first impressions of Stuart Skinner, and did you feel like, I know the team struggled and he struggled with it, but I just wanted to know if there was at any point that you thought maybe we're going to have to go get someone else, or did he kind of change your mind, or just your thought on the way he kind of recovered throughout the season?
Yeah, I think Stuart, he has a good demeanor for a goalie. He's a pretty easygoing guy, and it's the toughest position in sports probably, with the attention that they get. And you look up and down the lineup, everyone makes mistakes. Forwards do, defensemen do. When the goalie does, then everyone pays attention. A lot of times, a forward will make a terrible play, and you don't even talk about it because it gets broken up by a defenseman or the goalie makes a save. So I think you have to have that ability to shrug things off, and he's a very even-keel guy. So, yeah, he's had some ups and downs. I think people focus probably more on the downs than the ups. He had a real good stretch there from, I think our team started slow in October, but early November until probably mid-January, he played really well. Our team was on a roll, and then you see what he can do when he comes into the last couple of rounds here. Yeah, he started in LA, and our team wasn't very good, the first couple games either. We didn't give him much help, and he wasn't on top of his game either, but he was able to shrug that off, and he came back in, and we wouldn't be here without him, the way he's played. So, I think it's a lot of the goaltending is the mentality, because mistakes happen, goals are going to happen nearly every game, and the ability to deal with that adversity, I think, has been impressive.
Left side, second row, Mark.
Yeah, Stan, you watched some great players win their first cups in your years. You had Jonathan Toews, you had Patrick Kane. When you're a guy like Connor McDavid and you've lived 28 years for this moment, and then you get here last year and it doesn't work out, maybe you could just let us in on what do you think it means, and where does the Stanley Cup lie in Connor McDavid's kind of mission here?
Well, the first time I talked to Connor, I went to see him in the summer after I started, and all he talked about was, I just want to win the cup. That was it. We didn't talk about anything else. So his focus is, this is his singular focus. Like, he's accomplished everything he could accomplish individually in this sport. And he continues to dazzle us, every game, every round, makes a difference. Incredibly motivated and driven to win. I can't think of, you run out of superlatives to talk about him as a player and describe what he does on the ice. I think the thing that's equally impressive is the way he is, driving our team with his determination. And, there's no one else you want to go to battle with than someone like that. He's our leader. Not only is he impressive with what he can do on the ice, but his focus in driving us. So you could see how bad he wanted it last year when it didn't go Edmonton's way in Game 7. And right now, he's on a mission. I think as much as you get excited when you win, I think, I've noticed it from even the first round, the second round, even in Dallas, he's still very focused on, we need 4 more wins.
Take a few more. Right side, second row, Pierre.
A question for Chris. You spoke earlier about the Panthers' forecheck and dealing with it, and obviously you saw it firsthand a year ago in the Cup final. But I'm wondering if there's another team that you played recently that helped you prepare for it. I'm thinking Vegas, maybe in the second round, their forecheck and how you guys dealt with that. But also Stan going out and getting guys like Wallman and Klingberg. You have a pretty mobile defense, and how important is that in trying to counterattack the Panthers' forecheck?
Yeah, very similar. I think Vegas is a very big, strong team. They rely on their forecheck, maybe a little more. They don't. A little more of a rush team than Florida is, but they were a good forechecking team also. My best way to beat that is good puck movers. And there's one thing about just having a defenseman to be able to just get it out of trouble and get it out of the zone. But if we're continually just getting it out of the zone, we're giving the puck back, and then we have to defend, and we're just defend. It's not a good recipe. And you think about the way our team has played, especially our defense. Defense has been great at moving the puck, and especially with the additions that we've had. And fortunately, we made some really good additions. Like Stan had the knowledge to know what we needed and possibly to have that depth come in at an important time in this season. And were we ever prepared to lose Ekholm? Or we didn't want to do that, obviously, but we were able to play really well as a group because of the addition of like Wallman and Klingberg, those two of them. Stetcher played incredibly well when we needed him. But I think going back to like just the additions that Stan added through the trade, free agency, of just not having a player that defends and just doesn't avoids trouble. We're able to get the puck in our hands because we feel our strength is obviously our McDavid, Leon. Our identity is just being a good puck-moving team. And, if you don't have the defensemen that can make those good plays and pass the puck up to the forwards, you're not a puck-moving team. So I think it was great additions to have Klingberg and Wallman added to our team, which, right now, they've been doing a phenomenal job as a group. And now we've got just inserted Ekholm back into our lineup. It's been great. And we also have another guy or another couple guys that aren't playing right now with Stetcher and Emberson that we have a lot of confidence in if we needed them. But, just to alleviate that pressure from the forecheck, it usually starts with the back end, and we feel very confident with our back end.
Two more, right side, front row, Stephen.
Chris, real quick, is Connor Brown good to go for tomorrow still?
He'll be a game time decision.
And Stan, Chris was just talking about that. Obviously, you weren't in this job last year, but I wonder how much you watched last year's final and when you took over, kind of knew in terms of Wallman, Klingberg, what this team needed in terms of being better equipped for this moment in terms of the moves you need to make this year.
Yeah, I did as a fan. I mean, Edmonton's always been such an exciting team to watch, and it was an incredible final last year, just from a pure hockey perspective. It was intense games. So I was watching it through a bit of a different lens probably. And then when I started, I think, I refer back to the month of October. We had a slow start. We weren't playing our best, which happens oftentimes. It's hard to get your best game when you were just in the Stanley Cup final and a couple months earlier. But watching our team early there, I felt that was the one area we weren't as good as I thought we needed to be with helping our forwards out. I do think Chris just referenced it. Like, the strength of our team is we've got some really talented offensive forwards, and they do their best work when they have the puck in transition. And it reminded me a lot of we had our successful teams in Chicago, and I think similarly, they have great forwards there, with Hossa and Kane and Taves, Sharp, on down the list. But I think the thing that really made that team go was Keith and Seabrook on the back end. Like, they probably never got the proper recognition for their role and even Johnny Oduya and Hjalmarsson. We had four defensemen that were all really good at not only defending but helping support the offensive side of it. And I felt we didn't have enough early on in the season, so that was sort of our goal. We still did a good job of winning games and but you look ahead to the playoffs and you think, if we want to be able to withstand really good teams for 4 rounds, you're going to have to support your forwards probably a little better than we were at the time, and that's what ended up working out, and so far it's worked well.